Hi everybody, my name is Mike the Healy Gut Guy, and in today's video we are going to review what Sv3rige eats in a day. I'm sure it will be yummy.
Good morning. It's 8:30 a.m. right now. It's a very windy day here. A lot of you guys have been asking me what I eat in a day nowadays. I've got some bird wings here. I've only ever seen them here in France. As you may notice, the skin is quite a lot darker. They're quite nice. And some raw milk. As you may remember, I didn't used to drink a lot of raw milk, and I still don't, but I do right now because I'm able to tolerate it since the last few months. But back in the day, not very well. I'm gonna answer some.
So Sv3rige talks a lot about digestibility, and it's just very funny that he can't digest raw milk, which is like the easiest to digest food in the world. This is where he has a lot of food phobias because he's following this like very strict diet, and it'd be interesting to see what is behind that dairy intolerance. For a lot of people it could be mother issues. Like a lot of people were removed from the teats too soon, and that could be a traumatic event. He could have been drinking milk when somebody yelled at him, or when his girlfriend broke up with him or something, or he could have been yelling at one of his ex-girlfriends who wasn't, I know he has a kid, so maybe his wife wasn't, or his baby mama wasn't breastfeeding his kid well enough, and got into a fight about that. And then now the brain, every time the brain sees milk, I can't digest that she wasn't breastfeeding her kid correctly. Like, that's how these things come about. Your body just doesn't reject the easiest to digest food on the planet for no reason.
Emails here, and that's it.
Yeah, it's his choice if he wants to eat raw meat. I think that's really gross, and that it would taste a lot better and have the same amount of health benefits. Not that raw meat or cooked meat is protecting you from disease, because it's not, because disease in German new medicine is caused by conflict shock, stressful events that catch us off guard. Yes, you can, be nutrient deficient, but having a disease where different organs are adapting, and they have cell growth or cell loss, and they seemingly come out of nowhere, when even after nutritional deficiencies and toxicity are accounted for, it's not going to protect from, because cooking food causes carcinogens, I think is the raw carnivore argument. And it's not true, because there's people who eat cooked food their whole entire life, and they're absolutely fine. Cancer is caused by stressful events that catch us off guard. And some cancers show up in the conflict active phase, when the conflict is active, and some cancers show up in the healing phase, when the conflict is resolved. And these are some pretty different concepts. I don't understand. I don't expect people who are just seeing me for the first time to understand this, but it is okay to eat cooked meat. I mean, that is really disgusting. Like, my dogs don't even eat that. They won't even touch that stuff. Or my cats won't even eat raw meat. It is much tastier when it's cooked in a tasty marinade. For me, my favorite is teriyaki. I love teriyaki. All right, so the next, it's about here.
It's past 12 p.m. now. I just finished doing a consultation. I've got some oysters and sea urchin, which I'm gonna open up now. Very tasty. Hopefully they taste good. I think the sea urchins may be getting a little bit old, but I think they're still gonna taste good.
So these foods are, yes, oysters are very nutrient dense. Sea urchins are very nutrient dense foods, but the average person doesn't like eating these foods, and especially with not. If I just ate meat by itself, something that I enjoy, like, I need a starch, I need a sugar, like, it's just. So another person Sv3rige likes to quote a lot or reference a lot is the Weston A. Price Foundation, and in Weston A. Price's work, who was a dentist in the 1930s that traveled the world and saw what healthy primitives were eating. They were eating raw meat sometimes. So usually it was like fermented or cured, which is still technically raw. They ate it cooked probably most of the time. They ate starches. Yes, they did. I know you guys just love to quote only the Maasai and and the Eskimos and the Australian Aborigines, but he also visited like a bunch of other places. And I made like a Google map of all the places that he visited, and every single one of them ate starches, and it was like the staple of their diet that they ate these starches. And even when you look at the Maasai, they were eating starches. It says vegetables, that they were eating actually vegetables. And back in that time, vegetables would mean things like corn and potatoes and anything that was a plant food could be referred to as a vegetable back then. It was like that in the 80s. And I'm a 90s kid. I'm a 90s kid, and that's when that was being phased out. And the Aborigines, they ate tons of starches. Weston A. Price didn't see that because their culture had been, raped beyond existence by that time. But if you read the old settlers' journals from the first British people who visited there, they were eating tons of starches. They were eating tubers. They actually grew a grain. They find super old grain grinding stones. Hunter-gatherers are they're growing their own starches. They're growing tubers. They're trading. They trade for grains and stuff like that. So it is perfectly okay to eat these plant foods and, follow Weston A. Price. I mean, that's the best nutritional resource we have. But again, don't expect eating this perfect diet to resolve all your health issues, because what Dr. Hammersal, the founder of German New Medicine, is that everybody if someone had digestive issues, if someone had Crohn's disease, he would see a ring in their brain in a very specific location. If someone had heartburn, they'd have a ring in their brain in a very specific location. If someone had like asthma, or if they had lung cancer or something like that, every condition had a ring in the brain in a very specific location if you looked on a CT scan. Yeah, I think, here he's just eating oysters, and then here they have like this, they're eating a eggnog and orange juice, like egg yolks and orange juice. I mean, you have to eat it raw or it destroys the nutrients. That's the logic behind this, but I can't eat this. I will vomit if I eat this. It's gross. Why don't you just make scrambled eggs or runny eggs or something like that with bacon and orange juice like a normal person? It's much more tasty. I think the real problem with the carnivore diet is like it really, especially the raw carnivore diet, and even the regular carnivore diet where people eat or cook stuff, it destroys your social life. Like you just can't go out to eat with normal people because you're doing weird stuff like this, and they just won't hang out with you because this looks satanic to the average person.
A bit messy, no?
Yeah, usually.
Grams of ground meat with 15% fat.
Like, eating raw ground beef or whatever he's eating, it's just not tasty. It's disgusting. I would much rather make that into a burger or make it into a goulash and give it some flavor and have it taste good. Meat's tricky on how to make it more digestible. Cooking can make it easier to digest or harder to digest. You also have marinades and all sorts of things. I saw someone make a fermented hamburger the other day, and it actually looked really good. I think it was like Gouda Foods or something like that. But you don't have to eat it raw. Like it's just gross, and you're gonna be a social outcast. If you do stuff like this. But that's your choice. But eating raw meat is not going to fix any health issues.
Raw goat cheese made out of fresh milk with some mold on it already, but I'll eat it anyway. Maybe interesting. Raw butter, of course, and the drink.
You know, butter tastes much better on toast. Eating raw butter is like another vomit-inducing. I can't eat raw butter like that and not vomit. Like it's just gross. It's much better on with starch. You know, that's how people have been eating it forever.
We've got egg yolks, honey.
So essentially what they're putting together here is egg yolks, honey, and cream, which is essentially ice cream. So they're making like this gross version of ice cream, of raw ice cream. So more sour. It's and I guess the milk's old and it's sour. And they're under this illusion that it's going to magically fix all their health issues and make them bulletproof. And you know what's nice. You know, you go out and you have freaking gelato at the store. Like I'd rather have gelato at the store than make this stuff. It is fun to make homemade raw ice cream, and yeah, it's healthier. But actually, what will produce the most health benefits is getting rid of food phobias and addressing the stress that's actually causing your health issues. And so for Sv3rige, I know he's kind of had like quite a traumatic past, and I know recently he went through a bad breakup, and there's many ways to deal with those conflicts, but those are the things that are going to be responsible for the majority of our symptoms. I'm not a Sv3rige expert. I don't watch a lot of his videos, and I don't know a lot of his history. But I do know he was like in a mental institution before. He was like vegan, then he went into a mental institution, and then he kind of started the whole carnivore sting. And so yeah, there's some past trauma there that probably needs to be dealt with.
And super old rotten milk.
This is actually cream.
Right.
Yum, rotten milk, my favorite.
Of course, some butter, as always.
Nous ne sommes pas sûrs du nombre de personnes touchées. What consistent? Mais ce que nous pouvons dire, c'est qu'un pourcentage élevé d'étudiants.
Throughout the day, I drink close to 2 liters of liquids, which would be orange juice and raw milk. That's because
Orange juice with egg yolks in it. It's just...
I don't drink any water. I really don't like it. I maybe had a sip 2 weeks ago or so of water, but in general, I hardly ever drink it. It's maybe been a month since I really drank water.
I do agree with Sv3rige that we overemphasize like how much plain water we need, and especially when we're getting plenty of water from drinks and like orange juice and juices and raw milk. Your body's probably not going to crave much water.
If I would be traveling and there would be no other choice, then yeah, I would drink water, but it's really my worst case scenario.
Yep.
This is the last meal of the day. It's 11 p.m. 2 bananas. And yes, you may be laughing because I always make fun of bananas. Rightfully so, especially in the commentary videos. But the last few weeks, I've enjoyed eating 1 or 2 bananas before bed. Obviously not every day, and I always eat them with butter. I never used to eat them before. It was actually very rare.
I just want you to like think about how the average person eats something. They're not like, oh, this bananas, it goes against my religion, and oh, it's a plant food, it's bananas, oh, they're genetically modified, they don't exist in nature, blah, blah. Like, the average person doesn't care about all that stuff. They're not digesting the situation. They're not perceiving the food as hard to digest. They're just, hey, that looks tasty, I can afford it, I'm going to put it in my mouth and eat it and not think about it. Done. That's it. They're not turning it into a religion. The raw carnivore diet, in order to follow it, you have to be religious about it because it's so different. It casts you as an outcast to society because, people think you're like a Satan worshiper if you eat raw meat in front of them. That's just like the society. You could go out and live in Africa and it's probably a normal thing, but in the modern world, if you're not a hunter-gatherer, they're gonna think you worship Satan or something like that, and they're not gonna want to hang out with you and stuff. Even if you say like, oh, I do it for digestive issues and stuff like that. That's probably the biggest complaint I see about the carnivore diet. Is just it kills your social life, and good luck finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend who's gonna eat raw meat with you. There's probably only like a handful of people on the planet who are willing to do that sort of stuff. So, yeah, guys, if you want to learn how to eat normal foods again, you can. I have a 30-day plan down below. Go click on that, and I'll show you exactly what I did step by step in order to get better, and a lot of my other students as well. A lot of people just get better watching my free videos, but if you would like to work with me, I have the Rapid Gut Healing Program. It comes with 4 live Q&As a week where you can get on a Zoom call with me and my coaches and, heal your gut enjoyably. You don't have to go on these crazy, these crazy satanic diets and stuff like that. You can eat normal foods. From day one, I see people, they follow all these crazy strict diets. All they do is eat liver. They're allergic to water. Like, I hear the most ridiculous things. And literally overnight, when they understand that it was caused by a stressful event and not by food, their food allergies go away and they gain like 15, 20 pounds in a month. It's absolutely amazing. And so I can hold your hand through that process inside the Rapid Gut Healing Program. But you can also watch my free videos and get better. So I enjoy watching Sv3rige's videos. I hope this information helps Sv3rige. Yeah, Sv3rige is not Sv3rige unless he's eating raw meat, though. So I appreciate his authenticity and his grit and his anti-vegan movement, because veganism is a bad diet. So very nutrient deficient. So all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.